Hello everyone, welcome to my new tutorial series on Python programming. My name is Dipak and in this tutorial series I'll be talking about different topics of Python that we use in our daily programming job. For today I have selected higher order function as my topic. So let's start with its definition. A higher order function in Python are those type of functions that can take functions as an argument, and also they can return function as a result. So in this small code snippet I have defined a function. You can see that its first argument is function1, so we can call it like this. You can see we have called my higher order function, and we have also provided the first argument here, get square. So what is the definition of get square? You can see here get square is a function. So higher order function is a type of function that can take another function as an argument, and also it can return function as a result. So let's see it in action in our Python code. So I'm making a new Python file, higher order function ex.py. So in this section, so let me first define a simple function like get square. This get square will take integer argument. The type of ex is int, or you can also define it as a float. Let me define it as int here, and it will return another int. So in Python you can define the type, but it will not change the behavior of the Python code. It is just for the type int. Okay, it will not do anything in our code. It is ignored by the interpreter, but it gives the type hint in our editor. So what it returns is, it returns x multiplied by x. This is our simple function. So I'm also defining a main function here. I'm calling main function, but before that we have to define our main function. Main will return none. You can skip these type hints. Print starting main. Okay, this is our boilerplate. So now let's make higher order function. My higher order function name will be my higher order function. You can name it as you want, and my higher order function will take another function as an argument. So the function local variable name is my fluency function, and I'm also going to send iterable here. Okay, so this function is taking my function as an argument, and another argument is iterable. So in this function will create a new iterable. I'm making the name new iterable, which is currently empty list. It's just the initialization, and what I'm trying to do is I will iterate over this iterable. So for item in iterable, then what will I do? I will call this function here, my function. I'll call this function with the argument item. Then this function will return something which I am going to store as a result. Result result equals to my function, and I'm going to append this result in this new iterable. So new iterable dot append our result. So after it finishes its execution, it will return the new iterable. So return new iterable. So our higher order function is ready. So what is our higher order function doing? It is iterating over the past arguments and then applying this function to each of the item. So since it is taking another function as an argument, it is higher order function. So you can write a comment here is higher order function. So in our main function I will call this higher order function. So our let me say square result. I'm calling this higher order function. Since this higher order function returns something, I'm going to assign it in square result. So here, to call higher order function, you have to pass first of all the function name. So I'm passing this get square function here, and another argument is iterable. So let me prepare a new input iterable here. I'm just assigning 1 3 4 6 2. So this is my iterable, and I'm also passing this iterable as a second argument. So I'm going to print my square result here. So we have already called our main function here, so I can run it. To run our program, we can click this button, or we can also open a new terminal here, and we are currently in Python programming folder. Inside it there is a MapReduce folder. Let's go to that MapReduce folder. Now we are currently in the MapReduce filter folder, and now we can run our program as Python 3 higher order function. You can see that our result is 1 9 16 36 and 4. So square of 1 is 1, square of 3 is 9, square of 4 is 16, square of 6 is 36. We can also make another function like get double. So it will also take one argument, and it will return x multiplied by 2. Instead of making a square result, we can also reuse the same code to get double result. We can call our higher order function, and instead of get square, we can pass get double function as an argument, and we are also passing this iterable. And let me print this separately. So I'll also print a string here, square result, and for this I'll print double result as a double result. So let me run this again. My terminal is again. Let's cd MapReduce, and we can run Python 3 higher order function.py. Now you can see that first of all square result is printed, and since in the second function higher order function call we passed get double function, so function is passed, which is applied to each of the item in a loop, and the new iterable is prepared. And we are printing the result, and it shows that 1 double is 2, 3 double is 6, 8 double is 4 double is 8, and all doubles is also working correctly. So this is our higher order function taking function as an argument. In Python, we have several built-in higher order functions which are popular and which we can use in our daily programming job. They are map, filter, and reduce. These are commonly used higher order function. Other than this, there are also other higher order functions, but these are so popular, so I'm also showing how to use them. So map, the first higher order function built into Python is map. So what is map? Map is a higher order function which takes function as a first argument and iterables as a second argument, just like our this higher order function. And what it does is it iterates through these iterable and applies this function to each of the item, and it returns a new iterator as a map object. So it is similar to our this higher order function. It takes function as a first argument and iterables as a second argument. Let's see it in action in another example. So I'm creating a new file, map.ex.py, map example.py, and here let me make a main function first. Print starting main if underscore name, let's call our main. It is always good to prepare our Python script like this. So first of all, let me prepare a input list is 2 5 7, just a random data. Okay, so this is just a random data, and I'm also defining one normal function like get square. Okay, so get square, it will take one argument, and what it does is it will return the square of that item. So x multiplied by x is its square. So how can you use map function to make all the items of this input list square? So let me, so result equals to map, and the map function will first take function as an argument. So we have our function get square, and another argument is, you can see here, iter1. So we can pass this iterables. List is also iterable, so we can pass it, and we can print the result here. So we can print the result. We have to run it first. Where is the terminal? So let me open the terminal again. So we are again in the Python programming folder, so we can run it from here is another terminal. Okay, it is already in the map reduce filter folder. So I will run python 3 map example.py. You can see that we have printed the result returned by this map function, and it is actually map object. I have already shown you the definition of map object, where it returns a new iterator as a map object. So how can you evaluate it? We can iterate over this result to show the result, or we can also apply list function to it. So list function will evaluate it immediately, so the final result will be printed. So I'll run it again. You can see that 4 25 49 81 and 9 are printed. So you can see square of this number are these numbers. So what map is doing is, map is iterating over this number, apply each of the item to this function, and returns the value to make a map object. And if we evaluate map object with this list function, then it will show the result. It will show the result immediately. So this is what we can also define our another function like get cube, and get cube will return x multiplied by 3. This is the syntax of cube. You can also write x multiplied by x multiplied by x. Okay, so currently I am doing this because this is supported in Python, and we can also print the result, cube result. I am naming it as cube result, which is equal to map. We have to pass the function like get cube, and we will pass the input list. After that we will print cube result is cube result. So when we run the program, we will get the map object. So to evaluate the map object immediately, we can do this. Okay, we can apply the list function to that map result. So if we save it and run the code, then you can see that cube result is achieved. So instead of defining this function, we can also pass lambda function. For example, if I need to get the double value of the input list, then what we can do is double, let's just define the double result variable here in map function. Instead of providing this map function, I can also write the lambda function here. So lambda x, the syntax of lambda function is lambda input argument and the return value. So what should we return? We will return double of the item. So this is our lambda function as a first argument, and we can pass input list as a second argument. So input list is here. Now what will we get? Let's print our result, double result, and we will evaluate the double result. Since it is a map object, we have to evaluate it to print. So we have applied list function. Then after saving it, we run. Double result equals to 4, 10, 14, 18 and 6. The double of this input list is achieved. So this is very useful function, and since it returns the map object, which is actually iterable, it is lazy, so it is memory efficient also. We should evaluate that result whenever it is necessary. We can also loop through this result. For example, if I comment it out, and if I for I in double result, we can print I also. You can see that it will be printed like this. We don't explicitly we shouldn't explicitly write this list function, apply this list function. We can just iterate over the map object since it is iterable. So this is the example of map object. So after that, another popular higher order function is filter function. So filter function also takes one function as an argument and iterable as a second argument. So by definition, filter is a function that filters items from the input iterables. So it filters the iterable based on the function's condition. So what it does, it will iterate over these iterables, apply this function to each of the iterable, and if this function returns true, this function is a conditional function. So if this function returns true, then the item is appended in the new iterable, and if the function is this function return false, that item is not included in the result. So it also returns the filter object. Okay, so like map object, it returns filter object. We have to evaluate that. So let me create a new file to show the example, filter ex.py. So in filter ex, let's define a main function first. Starting main, let's call it main. Now our boilerplate is ready. We will also prepare a simple list here. Input list equals to, we can define some random number like 1, 4, 8, 9, 3, 5. You can also define 90. We can also define 43. Okay, so this is a random list. So how are you going to filter this list? We will filter the list, filter those items which is divisible by 2. So let me define a function to check if the item is divisible by 2 or not. So def is divisible divisible by 2. This is a function name. Okay, you have to write your function name clear. It will take an item, and if x modulo 2 equals to 0, it will return true, else it will return false. You can write this function in shortcut way, but to show you the clear logic, I am doing this. Okay, so this is a function. Always remember that filter function takes the function as a first argument, and this function must return either true or false. That means boolean value. It must return boolean value since it is a conditional function. So let me apply this function here. Filtered result equals to, we will use filter function, and this function will take function as an argument and iterable as a second argument. So let's first send the function is divisible by 2 is our function. We have passed function as an argument and another argument is iterable. So let's print the output filtered result, and to run it we can python 3 filter example.py. You can see that it returned the filter object. So how can we evaluate it? We can just apply the list function here. Since it is iterable, we can apply list function. So you can see that 4, 8 and 90, it returned 4, 8 and 90 in this item. Even numbers are only 4, 8 and 90, so it returned 4, 8 and 90. So again, similarly, instead of defining this function here, we can also pass the lambda function to the filter argument. For example, suppose we are filtering the list of item based on the condition that the item should not be divisible by 2. That is opposite of this condition. So let's get that result using the lambda function. Get item not divisible by 2 means odd number. Okay, get odd items. No get odd items list. I am defining the name of the function is odd item list, and for that let's apply the filter function, and here let's define a lambda function. Lambda function will take one argument, and x modulo 2 should not be equal to 0, so they are odd, and we are passing input list as our second argument. Let's print our result odd item list. So we got filter object. If we evaluate it using the list function, you can see that 1, 9, 3, 5, 43. 1, 9, 3, 5, 43 are odd numbers which are not divisible by 2. So we can use filter function like this and like this. We can pass the function name or we can pass the lambda function. So for lambda function, this is the syntax. This is a argument that is taken by the lambda function, and this is the value returned by the lambda function. This expression is a boolean expression which returns either true or false. Those item which returns true will be included in this list, otherwise they are excluded. So this is how filter function works. So another important function, higher order function built in Python is reduce. What is reduce? Reduce will take function as a first argument, similar to filter and map, and iterables as a second argument, but its working is somehow different from the map and reduce. It should be imported, it must be imported from the func tool since it is not in the global namespace. So we have to import it from func tools like this, and the reduce function is performs a rolling computation on a sequence, on this sequence, by repeatedly applying a binary function. Binary function means it will take 2 arguments. Its function will take 2 arguments, like filter and map. Filter and map function only take 1 argument. You can see that it will only take 1 argument, but the function which is passed to the filter function will take 2 arguments and perform the operation left to right, so reducing them to a single value. So these map and reduce returns iterables, but reduce return a single value. So it is easy. So let me show you with the example, and let's understand from that example reduce ex.py. So first let me import the reduce from func tools, import reduce, and let me define our main function, print starting main. After that, let me call our main function like this. Now our main function is ready, so single value. First of all, let me prepare input list as some random value. We can put any numbers here. Okay, so this is the random. So my problem statement is I have to add all items. In the list. You can also try the multiplication or any other thing like calculating average or anything, but I am summing all the items. So how reduce sum them up is, it will first take two arguments on the left and apply the function, and the function will reduce these two items to single items. Like if we want to add all the items in the list, then it will first takes two argument 2 plus 3, and the result is 5, and on another iteration it will run 5 plus, it will take 5, the first two result, and take another argument and sum them up, and the result will be taken as a first argument and with the 8, and then the result of this sum is added to this. Like this, all the items additions are prepared. So let me prepare the function first. Def get sum, it will take two argument, and what it does is it returns x plus y. So let's use a filter function. Addition equals to radius, and radius will take get sum as a first argument. It is also taking get sum function as a first argument, and second argument is input list. So after that we can print the addition. You can see that Python 3 radius example.py, you can see that addition is 30. So if you add all of them, it will result 30. So how radius is working is, radius will call this radius will iterate over this list, and first two items will be supplied to the get sum. On the first iteration, get sum will return the result of this, return the sum of this item, and again get sum function is called, where the result of this 2 plus 3 and 6 is provided. Similarly, it will go from left to right until the list items are iterated. So first two items, then result of first two item and this item, then result of first three items and 6, 8, and result of all 4 item and 4, and result of all 5 item and 2, and so on are passed to this get sum function. We can also use lambda function here. For example, if we have to calculate the average of the two item, that is average equals to, we can use radius, and we can pass lambda function here. So lambda function in this case will take two argument and return a single argument, x plus y returns a single argument, and the average of two item is 2, x plus y divided by 2, and another argument is input list. You can see that, and you can print the average as, let's run it again. Average is 4.26 56 25. Okay, so in this way you can use radius. Remember that map and filter will return iterator, new iterator, is a map object and filter object, and but radius will return a single value. Radius, by its name, reduces the iterable to a single value. For example, if you want to calculate the sum of long list, then it will return the sum as a single value. Also, for in case of average, or in case of mean, or in case of max, it will return single value. So In this way, map, filter and reduce works. So first of all, in this video I have provided you the example of how to define the our higher order function according to our need, and also I have provided some examples of built-in function like map, filter, radius, etc. So if you have any question related to this, then you can ask me in the comment and I'll try to answer you from there. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.